Cool.
Yeah. 51.
So it looks like the broadcast is now live. Mrs. Toast, we're in a little bit of, we're at our own home, but we're in some uncharted territory because tonight we're not in the shop. And the reason we're not in the shop is, well, we're going to get to that. But we're doing something brand new tonight, thanks to our friend Brad Hutchings, who set this up. He was he's been trying to help us with with our live streams lately, and he really wants to get them to be good. So he recommended that we use the service called StreamYard, excuse me, which I believe is what we're using tonight, StreamYard, and that should make all of the audio and visual issues a thing of the past. Now, we're doing this test run at our house because we actually can bitch and whine and complain to the internet provider here. As you know, at the shop, we are pirating the internet from the 459 Social Club. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, hey everybody, this is Matt, and we are not at Texas Toast Guitars. We are at my home, and the lovely and talented Mrs. Toast is with me, and we have a special guest tonight that is very it's a very cool special guest, and yeah, we've got a lot of great stuff to talk about. But why am I not in the shop today, Mrs. Toast? Do you know?
Because we're so fucking tired.
Well, actually, you're tired, but I am just burned out. I didn't get up at 2 o'clock in the morning like you did today.
I got up at 1:15.
Okay, well, whatever time you got up is not when I got up. But Chris and I have spent the last 10 days, actually the last 14 days, trying to make sure that people didn't cut off fingers and poke holes in their heads that weren't there when they got to the shop. And so I took the last couple of days off, but rest assured, I'll be back in the shop later this week, tomorrow, as a matter of fact, working on everybody's guitar. So you can stop sending me emails begging for updates. For the last 2 weeks, I haven't done anything but class stuff. I will be getting to your builds this week. Chris, on the other hand, will not be getting to your builds this week because he is, I believe he's taking the rest of the month off, and I think he's going to Nebraska. Now, I know what you're thinking. Didn't they close Nebraska? But the fact of the matter is that I think Chris is actually going to Nebraska this week. But no matter, we will have lots of live stuff. We'll have lots of videos. I'm going to be doing reaction videos without Chris for Great Guitar Build Off. And yeah, so Mrs. Toast, how are you tonight?
I'm basically dead, but just too stupid to follow.
Okay. Well, it's a good thing that we have a special guest tonight. You know, I have been crying wolf about having Brad Angove on a live stream many, many times. And I always get you guys with that puppet. And I thought, you know what, Brad Hutchings, let's see if we can get the actual Brad Angove on the live stream tonight. And Brad Hutchings, somehow or another, figured out how to do it. So without further ado, may I please introduce the one, the only, the wildly handsome Brad Angove. How you doing,
Brad? Nice to finally appear on here in color. Or actually, what I should say is, "What's up, buddy?"
Hey, buddy. Or hey, buddy. In 3 dimensions, even though we're in 2 dimensions. So
I look better in the picture. Let's be honest.
Well, we took a good. It was your promo picture that we used for that for that thing. So, Brad, thanks for joining us, man.
Thanks for having me.
You and I had talked. We actually talked about doing this for a little over a year now, and
yeah.
And it just sort of worked out. This was a last minute deal that Brad Hutchings threw together like today.
Yeah,
today.
Got the notice yesterday. Like, hey, you're gonna be able to make it for this.
Okay.
Wouldn't miss it.
Well, I'm glad that you have because I know that you have a life and you have other things that you have to do besides talk about. I don't even know what we're going to talk about. I don't have a list of questions or anything. I'm imagining it's going to be all about beer and Wonder Bread. I think it's all we're really going to have time to talk about.
Well, we should probably start by clearing up a common misconception here that I may or may not have created.
Okay.
That's clearly not a Coors Light. So since you're at your home, I have to assume that you don't drink Coors Light because it's your favorite. It's just because you're cheap. Is that right?
No, that's 100% right. See, what used to happen was we used to drink a lot more beer in the shop, and everybody thinks that all we do is sit around drinking all day. The fact of the matter is that around 5 o'clock, we usually have a beer or a couple of beers. That's also about the time that we start to do live things. So it comes off as we're, a bunch of drunks. But we have a fridge and we have beer in the fridge. And if we have good stuff in the fridge, we'll get a cavalcade of bozos that come over and drink all of our good beer. So I'm like, well, let's settle on something that like people won't come over, like the shop won't be a destination for people to get free beer from my fridge. So my friend Smoothie C sent me these shiners from Texas, and so I'm going to be enjoying these today because this is the where I grew up. This is what there was. I mean, they had like Budweiser and some other stuff on tap, but this is what they had. So
that was your thing, hey?
It is my thing. What are you having tonight? I'm gonna put my danger glasses on so I can see.
I've got a Ghost Train Oatmeal Stout from Medicine Hat. I
have no idea what that is.
Those are a lot of words for a name of a beer.
Yeah, that's a lot of beer names there.
Yeah, they like to make things complicated here. It's got to be craft.
Are you? So Chris is also a mega craft beer guy, and he will absolutely drink the craft beer first, and begrudgingly accepts that Coors Light is the de facto beer in the shop. So
I like a beer that I can't see through. It doesn't have to be craft.
Okay.
Guinness, Smithwick's, Kilkenny.
I can see through this.
Yeah, I don't drink a lot of lagers.
So yeah. Well, so here is the question to everyone's answer, Brad. I forget what song that is. Steve Miller. Anyway, when can we expect for you to fly 800 to 900 miles south and be in the Texas Toast shop, not just on the Texas Toast live stream?
I think you should scholarship him a class.
So that would be good.
Yeah.
I could definitely learn a few things. I think the thing is, your guess is as good as mine, because as it stands, when can I go to America and come back? Right now, if I try to do that, I end up in a hotel for 2 weeks or something crazy like that, right? So
only going back.
Yeah, only coming back.
All right.
You guys are playing it a little more fast and loose than us. But
I
watch Oak Island. I know you got to stay in a hotel for 2
Island.
weeks. Yeah, that's Canada.
So, okay, so as soon as the COVID thing is over, I'm assuming you have enough frequent flyer miles to get down here to Colorado.
I'm sure we can work something out. I hear the skiing's pretty good down there, so I'm planning on making a trip at some point regardless.
Good. Well, yeah, keep us in mind, and the door is always open to Brad, and the door is always open to you guys to ask Brad questions. I can't see any of them because we're doing this thing via the StreamYard deal, and it's slightly different. Looks like we do have a question here. Ed Billy B and Blues PSA: putting a cheap kit together, contest or not, is about as easy as gluing a fart to the wall. Thank you, Ed, for the super chat.
Fair enough.
Building guitars is tricky, and yeah, it doesn't matter if you're doing it for a contest or if you're doing it for a living. What say you, Brad?
Cheap kit guitars end up with more problems than they're worth about half the time. But I mean, that's why they're cheap, right? Mm-hmm. There's usually nothing you can't fix unless they get the scale length wrong or something like that. But I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Although I did get one from Tom Top that they sent me where there was like a crack in the back of the neck because they'd clearly routed the channel for the truss rod too deep.
Okay.
And that made me a little nervous. And that thing's been nothing but trouble. So I'm trying to decide whether to finish it or burn it.
Well, what do you think Ben Crow would say?
Burn it? Does he ever say that?
I don't know what the whole burning it is about, but yeah. I went on Ben's live stream today and asked him when it was too early to start drinking. And I think that that a lot of people started to do live drinking with the Guitar Builder podcast things. And I'm not saying where they got the idea, but you guys know where they got the idea. So.
Oh, for sure.
Anyway, looks like we've got one here from Doug. My friend Doug Santaniello. Believe me, Brad, Matt, and Chris are lightweights, but I was a bad influence. Had Chris drinking enough to want to bet on drinking maple syrup.
Straight out of Super Troopers.
Yeah, Chris is. I keep trying to convince him that this is a horrible idea to drink maple syrup or really anything that's not, designed to be consumed in multiple ounces at a time.
Chucking maple syrup will create irreversible metabolic damage.
Even if it doesn't, I think
actually really hurts your jaw too.
Really?
15 years of rugby, I've chugged some silly stuff, and
okay.
Yeah, that one will make you. It's not a good idea. Let's put it that way.
Brad, when you say that you've chugged some silly stuff and it hurts your jaw, the jokes practically write themselves.
It was so hard. I was biting my tongue off.
So anyway, so we don't know. So I don't know if Chris is even here with us tonight or if he is on the road.
Haven't seen him pop up.
So Chris may not be available. So we have spent the last 2 weeks doing classes, and while wildly fun, they really take a lot out of you. So he's taking, like I said, the rest of the month off, as far as I know. But anyway,
everybody needs a vacation, right?
Man, you got that right. Let's see. Jimmy T568 says, Brad Angove, Ty for your channel has been a godsend.
Thank you.
Oh, see, yeah, you have to spell it out. I'm not here. Thank you for your channel. It's been a godsend from my shop, Highlander Guitar, custom shop. Finish info is invaluable. Thanks,
Jimmy.
Brad, for all of your finishing. I know that I've learned a lot from all of your.
But have you burned the guitar?
Mrs. Toast wants to know if you've burned a guitar, Brad.
Not on purpose, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what? When she gets like silly and drinking and half asleep, she's basically impossible to understand.
I finished this one first and then lit it on fire.
Is that so? Now you have done some stuff with you've accentuated grain with burning techniques,
oh, that's
right?
cool.
Yeah, I
wasn't expecting to whip it out, man. That's cool.
Pardon me?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
What?
This is so I wasn't expecting you to whip it out. This is sort of a family show.
Not at all.
Yeah, we've got Brad H just mentioned that I burnt the one for the Great Guitar Build Off last year that he purchased.
Okay.
This may be Brad, do you have that one handy? It wasn't the winning guitar, not by any stretch, because the winning guitar had as many necks as pretty much all of mine combined.
That was one of the reasons we didn't want to do a guitar this year for the Great Guitar Build Off. Was everybody would have expected us to do a 4-neck guitar, something like that. So since you mentioned it though, Brad, let's talk a little bit about Great Guitar Build Off, because I think there are a lot of people who are probably doing Great Guitar Build Off or are excited to see what's happening with Great Guitar Build Off. What can you tell us about your entry for Great Guitar Build Off 2021?
Oh, well, there's the Great Guitar Build Off entry from 2020.
Mm-hmm. I still like
Very
that.
nice.
I was going to try to make a counterfeit of that guitar for an entry in the Great Guitar Build Off.
Can you do it as an amateur?
Actually would have been hilarious.
Well, hold on. So tell us a little bit about what you've got going for 2021, whatever you can tell us. I know that this is sort of top secret stuff.
Well, it's not. What happened was I've got an arrangement with Crimson where I'm doing 2 kits.
Okay.
And they sent me one, but it's not the one for the Great Guitar Build Off. So I don't actually have it yet. So I have an idea, but I haven't even got the kit in front of me. Like I draw it out by hand on the kit and everything before I actually build it. So Answer is I haven't even started. I don't have it yet.
Okay. And so it is my understanding that all of these things were supposed to be done in like 37 days. Is that
end of May? Yeah.
okay? So that's gotten pushed back a little bit.
I don't think so.
But even though you don't have your supplies,
yeah. So I'm gonna have to figure something out there.
Okay.
Which is interesting because I have like, as you may know, not a whole heck of a lot of time, but I've got the plans together.
Okay.
The thing is, there's not much I can tell you about it because I haven't even started on it.
Okay. I know that a couple of the other contestants are still waiting for some bits and pieces, and yeah, we are anxiously awaiting what everybody comes up with this year. Looks like we got another super chat from Andrew St. Pierre, my good friend Andy the Saint. He wants to know, Brad, what do your law partners think about your YouTube persona?
Most of the time, they just forget that it's a thing at all, which is probably for the best. It's an interesting combination. Let's put it that way. It's my hobby as far as they're concerned, and frankly, as far as everyone is concerned, nobody's deluding themselves into thinking that I'm a professional guitar builder per se. So,
wait, that blows my mind, dude.
Yeah, you've never said anything like that.
I said a lot of tacky stuff, but yeah, if I had ever said that, it was of course all in jest, because we really do like everything that you do, Brad. So
I actually had one of my bosses ask me to build him one at one point, so that was pretty cool. He was happy with it, which is nice, because that would have been a career limiting move.
How does your shop work? Do you share space with a bunch of other woodworker guys? How does that work?
That's an interesting one. Actually, I started working at that shop when I was about 14 years old, doing like packaging work.
Okay.
And then started doing printing later, and then became a machinist there for a while, and then a project manager. And eventually, over the course of 15 years, I built up a relationship where now they just let me work in there on the weekends, as long as I help with the occasional thing where they need my kind of background.
That's cool. So like if anyone needs to play rugby, you have to be on the company rugby team for.
Yeah, that's about all they consider me good for. So yes, accurate.
I kid. Well, so okay, so but that looks like it has a fully operational spray room, and I know it has a brand new bandsaw.
Yeah, so it's got a little booth for the spray stuff.
It's a big booth.
Yeah, it's a reasonable size. So that's something that we kind of like. I helped pick it, if you will, and I kind of showed the employees how to use spray guns and whatnot, because I worked in a body shop briefly. And now my involvement is fairly limited. It's only if they need, if you've seen, like if they need something like this done, where they'll do like a large art piece that kind of has this holographic look to it.
Ooh, cool.
I will help them get that kind of thing going. That's
awesome, man.
Only I could get the wiring figured out on that guy.
Ooh, yeah, that's, one of the things that I know about wiring, I learned from Chris, and that was that electricity goes both ways through the wire. And once I figured that out, I'm like, oh yeah. And we were able to do some stuff with wiring that I always thought that you think, well, electricity flows like water, and it's not unlike water, but it will also go uphill. So anyway, Brad wants to know, show the channel my favorite telly, Brad. This is Show and Tell with Brad Angove. No one thought this would ever happen.
No, and especially the only reason this is happening is because you're not in your shop. So we gotta drop down to my stuff.
No. There's actually very, very few fully operational guitars in my shop. So there's a bunch of bits, things.
This is actually kind of funny because Brad's favorite telly bears a strong resemblance to the style that you guys did in your airbrush classes. So it's got this paneled look.
Okay, that's
with the tearing in it. These are, I got I don't want to say lazy because I thought this would be a nice touch, but like you can airbrush a rivet. I didn't. These are actual rivets that I put in here.
Oh, that I actually like that. That's really neat.
Yeah, it was it gives it a little something, if you will. Although somebody really threw some shade at me on the channel for it. So
there's so many assholes. So
You're
few
not
rivets.
sure you have a hater.
Yeah.
And then the interesting choice here, I did some kind of selective scalloping. I'm not going to pretend it makes it easier to play, but it's not notably worse. I would maybe do them a little shallower if I were doing it again.
I can tell you that if you want to catch shade on your channel, one really great way to do it is take a brand new Yngwie Malmsteen Strat and grind all the paint off of it and cover it with fabric. That one was, we got a lot of grief for that. Or just say Leo Fender got something wrong. But yeah.
Yeah, so, God forbid the technology for guitars change at all over the course of 50 years, right? Who could possibly imagine that making sense?
I was talking with one of the guys who rents space from us today, Brandon, and he and I are both Gibson guys. And I'm gonna piss off a lot of Fender guys when I say this, but you can tell the instrument that was made by legacy instrument builders and the one that was built by a guy who fixed radios. Now, having said that, it doesn't mean that the guy who fixed radios got anything wrong, but basically it's a cutting board that holds strings, and he got a lot of things absolutely right. But yeah, for me, I've always erred on the side of what, if you can imagine that there's two electric guitars, one is the Les Paul and one is the Strat. And I realized, guys, stuff came before the Les Paul and stuff came before the Strat. But those are the two that all others basically are. And I've always erred on the side of Gibson stuff. So anyway, it looks like we've got a comment from Beardo here. Imagine opposing counsel doing closing arguments with the Brad puppet.
I'm going to crack another drink here, and I'm going to need one of you to say in your fake Canadian accent, "I rest my case, Your Honor," please.
Okay, hold on. Are you ready?
In summary,
I rest my case, buddy.
I've literally never said I rest my case in court ever.
Have you ever said, how about this? Oh wait, I'm trying to remember the line. You want the truth, buddy? You can't handle the truth. Anything? No. Okay.
We don't have the Fifth Amendment here, so I'm just going to say it instead of pleading that one. I bet someone back when I was in law school that I could say that in a pretrial conference. I lost that bet. I could not work it in a way that wouldn't have me in deep trouble.
Brad, can I try to embarrass you in a way that you're not going to expect? I am so.
I think he's expecting it.
No, I don't think so. Brad, I want to absolutely positively thank you for having such a good sense of humor about all the silly stuff that we did last year for Great Guitar Build Off. You were the only guy who got into the smack talk and it was really, really cool to do that with you. And I wish that everybody else did that too. It would have made it fun, but Brad, without you doing the stuff that you did last year, the Great Guitar Build Off would not have been nearly as much fun. So thank you for going the extra mile and having a sense of humor and being able to laugh at yourself and laugh at me, which is totally easy to do. But laugh at me on camera. I'm sure a lot of other people laughed at me, but didn't do videos about it. So I applaud your sense of World Wrestling Federation. Great Guitar Build Off last year.
Well, I really appreciated you guys initiating that, because that's part of what made it so fun last year, right? Like
I think so.
All of the competitive spirit, the humor that we were able to get out of it. That's what made it great.
And
Yeah.
The guitar build off itself was excellent, obviously as well, but that really added something to it. And I don't know. I felt like maybe one or two of the other competitors kind of seemed like they were just a little too busy for all of it, but I had all the time in the world for the contest.
They might have like actual like lives and activities and interests outside of all this. So.
Excuses are a dime a dozen.
I know. Here, so I have some predictions for what is going to be happening for the invitational build. And one of my predictions is that Jimmy DiResta is out for blood this year. I think he's going to take it way more seriously than he did last year.
I think he's in the
full revenge mode.
Vengeance is mine.
Yes, total revenge mode.
This year it'll have like a functioning engine in it or something. He'll be able to ride his guitar to the shop.
I have actually been predicting lots and lots and lots of star power from Jimmy DiResta, because he has an IMDb page, he has a Wikipedia thing. Yeah, so he hangs out with Nick Offerman and
it goes fishing and stuff.
I don't know if he goes fishing with him or not, but or Tawny Katane or whatever other B-list celebrities. He not that Nick Offerman's a B-list celebrity, but Tawny Katane would be. He's like the Love Boat. His Great Guitar Build-Off entry for 2021, I predict, will be a lot like the Love Boat of guitar building videos.
So like Charo?
Maybe Charo is going to play it. I don't know.
She's an excellent flamenco guitar.
What say ye, Brad? Do you have prediction 1, 2, or 3, or any predictions at all for Great Guitar Build-Off?
Well, first on that point, Crimson Guitars or the Great Guitar Build-Off, which I guess is its own separate entity this year, did a short promo video, and it was completely optional, but they asked the invitational participants to do a little something. Jimmy participated on a fairly short timeline.
Yep.
So I'd be inclined to agree with you that he's probably planning on giving it maybe not 110%. I don't know. He seems like a very busy guy, but he's probably planning on approaching it in a way that's going to make it difficult for people like me to compete. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does this year. And I think last year you predicted a reality channel or a reality show or something. So who knows?
I have a lot of predictions that didn't come true last year, but do you remember, like, it was Monday before the Friday that the guitars were supposed to be done, and Jimmy DiResta said, "Hey, when are these things due?" Do you remember that?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know where he was at in his build at the time. I think that's about when I was scraping the paint off of mine, if I remember correctly.
Right. You had a bit of a bummer paint thing happen.
The gloss just didn't sit right with me. Yeah. So
you're kind of in full on revenge mode this year too, then maybe.
I did okay last year only because my channel is a little on the smaller side. So
not as small as ours, but yeah.
But your guitar sold for a ton.
But when you looked at like who it was with one exception, if you had the biggest channel, you came in last. Yeah. And if you had the smallest channel, you came in first. Now, that was just the metric that they came up with.
Yeah. You need to caveat that, though, because, like, for example, your guitar sold for more money than I have. Whereas, like, Tamar's guitar, for example, sold for considerably more than mine. And the only reason I beat her is because I have a smaller channel. You guys didn't win because you had a smaller channel. You won because you created a feat of engineering that someone with a very strong back was inclined to play. Actually, you had to stand for it too, didn't you?
Oh yeah, yeah.
You guys are lunatics.
You can wear that, and I did, and it was wildly fun. But yeah, having a stand made all the difference in the world.
Yeah, he every day rocks my world.
Every day I rock Mrs. Toast's worlds. So okay, so
which one of you has longer hair?
Me, by a fair piece.
By a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Perfect.
So let's shift gears here. Are there any questions that we missed that I'm not?
Is the build-off?
Someone asked about the mustache.
Oh, that's right.
A mustache? What?
Yeah,
I owe you guys a mustache.
Yeah.
It's true.
That's right.
It's true.
Oh,
yeah,
dude, I forgot all about that. I rocked that mustache until the rest of the beard grew out with it, and Mrs. Toast hated it.
I tried to forget about it. Somebody has brought it up. Yeah.
It's a hard memory to suppress.
Yeah, I haven't done a crazy mustache since before I started articling. That's a bold move.
I called that the first responder. Yeah.
From like 70s.
I did one where I did kind of the chops and then the handlebar or whatever, and I shaved everything else, and I made them line up perfectly underneath. Then I went to a rugby tournament in Montana that I'm surprised anybody survived, and it was hilarious. I owe you guys one.
The Dwayne Allman, which is the chops into the mustache, but none of this stuff. I always liked that. Yeah.
It's like the reverse C. Everett Cooper.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Jimmy wants to know, is the build off by invite only? As a matter of fact, no. There is
no.
It's the opposite now. The
opposite.
Well, yeah,
and that I don't want to talk about Great Guitar Build Off for an hour, but so the Invitational is what you are competing. Is that what they're calling it this year, Brad? Invitational.
Yeah. So we're not the main show anymore, which is good. This is how it should be, I think.
I 100% agree, because the guys who are doing the open class or whatever it is, there's so many of them. There's like over 300 people building guitars. And when Ben contacted me about this over a year ago, it was his vision for the Great Guitar Build. Well, what would become the Great Guitar Build Off, to be something where people would get involved with building guitars. And I don't know if the charity deal was like I know that it's a big part of it now. I don't know if that was in February of 2020. I'm not 100% sure if that was his idea, that it would become a big charity event, but it's very cool that it did. Check out greatguitarbuildoff.com, and you can see all of the participants. They are doing a bang up job of putting videos and links and people's channels and things like that. And you can see lots and lots and lots of really great guitar building happening. Some of it is, I'm putting a kit together for the very first time. And some of it is I'm building from scratch, and I've been making guitars for, since the Dead Sea was only sick. I don't know. So.
I saw Ray from Baguette Guitars is on here today. I think he posted a comment, and I just bought a set of bits for my rotary tool because of his video on Inlays, because he did such a cool job there.
That's cool. Right on.
Yeah.
Does Ray
need to pick up the? Pardon me.
Does Ray sell the bits, or he's just got the sweet hookup?
No, he's the one who did the Dragon inlay, I think it was last year.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
And very detailed, and it looked like it was all essentially by hand. So,
okay.
I mean, I can't even inlay a straight strip of wood by hand. So here we go.
I
say that in jest because I inlaid Brad's pick guard for last year, but still.
Oh, okay. So, are you still doing stamped metal pick guards or copper, or what are you using for those?
So that's water jet cut. I do it pretty much. Yeah. It's not, I shouldn't say anything, but I do water jet cut. Aluminum is kind of the primary. And then a lot of people will get brass ones. Right now, they're kind of just direct order only. I've got, where did I put that? Since we're in my room of horrors here, I also do like rusted mild steel, which is
that over the whole guitar or just? Oh, I see. Never mind. I see.
The guards. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Cool.
There we go. So those are rusted. They've got a little airbrush work on them to darken parts up, which is heavy. I'll be honest with you. Like they're cool, but this guitar weighs a lot.
That's cool,
so,
man.
Got to keep it thin.
I dig it. One of my favorite guitars is also one of the heaviest guitars I own, and that is a clear lucite Dan Armstrong, which is neat because you can see through it. But yeah, it weighs a lot. Yeah. So.
How many necks does it have?
It's just the one. Just the one. Okay. So we've built a bunch of multiple neck guitars, and what I will tell you is no matter what your bass player does, no matter how outrageous your singer is dressed, a double neck guitar will put all of the focus on the guitar player every single time. So
Yeah.
And
I'm not
necks,
Steve Vai. I have no business playing a 2-neck guitar. I can't even play a single neck guitar. Who am I kidding? I saw someone on my channel, I think, responded to one of your comments and said, at least Brad can play his guitar. I'm like, what, Brad, are you talking about?
Oh, man, that's
no chance.
Harsh. Yeah. I am not a guitar player. So yeah. Well, so let's shift gears a little bit here, because I think I'm done talking about Great Guitar Build Off, and I don't know. Do you have anything more that you want to say about Great Guitar Build Off, Brad?
Oh, I'll find a platform for that. Don't you worry. Let's move on.
You have a fully operational channel with 100,000 subscribers. I'm sure
we can manage it.
Yeah, I think you don't need my help. So one of the things I was talking to Brad Hutchings about earlier today was the guitar that we sent to him we did in conjunction with Mike Learn at the Build and Paint a Guitar with Mike Learn class. And we were talking about what offensive weapons do small builders have, and I would like to get your take on this. What I told him was that one of the things that we can do is, hey, there it is. One of the things that we can do as a small time or as a guitar company that doesn't make,
that's awesome,
a lot of guitars every year or every day, is we can kind of shoot from the hip, and we don't have to make the same old stuff that everybody expects us to make. Now we still do, small builders still do, we make lots of tellies and strats and things like that because people ask us to do that, but we can make the crazy one-off stuff. So that's one of the offensive weapons that a small boutique builder has. What do you think? And I should have kind of primed you for this question, but as a guitar builder who doesn't, cut up 50 guitars a day, like the big companies probably do, what offensive weapons do you have? What sets you apart from the big guys?
Well, I mean, so look, if I can start with a question before I jump into that.
Sure.
You guys built that. Did you CNC those inlays? Those are awesome.
Absolutely, we CNC'd the inlays. Yeah.
Nice. Those look great.
Since we are expanding the shop but not expanding the output of the shop, we had to do something that we never ever thought we would do, and that was buy a CNC machine. Now, what we're using that for is inlay. We kind of started to do the math, and we're like, we sold a lot of custom inlay this last year by telling people we don't do custom inlay. And so we had to outsource it. We had a couple different people that were doing it for us. And we thought, well, what if we just started to do our own custom inlay? The CNC machine is, in a way, an employee that you have to pay one time, and it can work autonomously. And that is a way to help us cover the overhead of the shop expansion, because we're not going to make, we're not all of a sudden going to make a bunch more guitars because we have another 1,000 square feet in the shop. Really, all that's going to happen is we're going to have a bunch more overhead. We will be able to handle more students probably, but we don't know. So it looks like, stand by. I want to get back to you. Doug was there, and he says he loves his Warbird because it has so Doug actually bought the original Warbird. And Dave actually commented before then, Dave, I got your box of candy and your box cutters. Whatever you do, don't leave home without a box cutter. Okay, I'm sorry, Brad. So you were saying.
All right. Well, I just wanted to check on that. But now to answer your question, because I diverted us a little bit. In short, I mean, a guitar builder like you guys not everybody wants the same thing. Not everybody wants a Telecaster, right? Not everybody wants, a Les Paul. Yeah, they're good guitars, but one, you can give people what they want. You can pick the type of wood they want. You can, you in particular can add their fabric to it, do your Simtex sealer or whatever it is. I can't. I'm not going to pretend I can, but
Brad, that is the easiest finish you will ever do in your life.
You got to sacrifice a gun almost every time you use a polyester sealer, though. I don't know how you guys clean that crap out.
We don't.
Garbage.
We buy the junkiest guns we can, and we toss them when they get old. So yeah, and the disposable 3M cups go a long way too.
I did actually use the glitter hair gel that came up in the comments. I totally did.
Mrs. Post asked about that. Yeah,
it's got a sheen to it. Yeah, it's it gave me a bit of glow. I have it in here. Yeah,
we have a instantly Canadian kit too. Anyway, so do you know where that is, love?
Oh,
I'm sorry, Brad. Please continue. I'm all over the place here.
Well, I'm not really saying anything that you didn't say. I'm just getting at not everybody wants the same thing. So somebody like you can do custom inlays. Can you imagine going to Fender custom shop and saying, I like your guitar, but I'd like the horn to be a little sharper because I like a little bit more metal look to it, and I want a particular top that isn't maple. Can you I can't fathom doing that. Whereas with you guys, absolutely.
We did a video many years ago called "The Fender Custom Shop is Not a Custom Shop," and I got a lot of shit for that one too. But fortunately, it was an older video, so I don't have to, do a lot of. I don't have to answer.
Don't have to deal with it too much.
No. But I've kind of acquiesced on that because you can't go to the Fender Custom Shop and say, maybe if you're, Eric Johnson, you can go there and say, I want this, that, and the other. But the fact of the matter is, you can't go there with your own design and say, hey, make this, unless you are
absolutely.
Yeah.
Now you can go see, I guess. Well, when you go there, you can get John Nelson to do your paint job, so that'll be cool. Oh,
that's definitely cool. So this is what is this? This is a Canadian lip balm?
No, it's breath spray.
Oh, breath spray. Okay. Look and feel Canadian. This is what I use.
Instantly.
This is what I use every day to look and feel Canadian. And I'm not sure what flavor it is. Succumb to the fantasy. Anyway.
I assume you apologize immediately afterward.
Oh, geez.
Oh, geez.
Oh, geez.
No.
Boot it.
And Mrs. Toast also got me this little pin here, which is
I got that from the North American Wholesale Lumber Association.
Yeah, the Wholesale Lumber Association.
Oh, yeah.
So this is Brad. This is you and I. We're coming together as guitar builders and guys who love mustaches.
Thank you for not making a joke about the poles being crossed. We're good. Moving on.
The poles? I guess I don't get that.
I don't know. I think it's a Dutch rudder thing.
I don't know.
It's not gay.
It's cool.
Yeah. There is another famous famous Canadian YouTuber who will be having Philip McKnight on his channel later tonight, and that is Ben Coombs. So everybody, after you are done watching Brad and I drink beer and sit around and jaw jack, go check out Ben Coombs, and he's going to have Philip McKnight on and tell him that Matt and Brad said hey. I'd also like to thank the good people at Flipside Music, the great American guitar store. They'll also ship to Canada. Ike and the guys over there are willing to take your money and your abuse and sell you all of the great stuff that they have in stock. So thank you to Flipside Music, the great American guitar store. What else, Brad? What else do we have that we can talk about as small builders? One of the things that I say to everybody who comes to my shop is, without YouTube, there's no shop. How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, I barely have a shop, frankly. My channel has a much different focus than you, as everybody knows. And this is probably why you guys are better at building guitars and I have more subscribers, because I'm here showing people how to paint stuff with what they have. Usually, I don't pull out the paint guns all that often per se. I'm showing wipe-on finishes and spray cans and stuff like that. You guys can do pretty much anything in your shop, more than I can, absolutely. And and people don't come to you as much for tutorials because not everybody's got that Iwata that you waved around in my face at the beginning of last year's Great Guitar Build.
I did wave that around in your face. Hey, if you like that Iwata gun, I have a deal on. I learned something about Iwata recently from Mike Learn, who has forgotten more about paint guns in the last 10 minutes than I'll ever know. Apparently, Iwata is a company that just sort of makes nothing and sells other people's stuff. So I don't know how that works, but they I have a brand new spray gun that is kind of my new thing that I'm going to start using, and it's made in the factory that makes the Iwata stuff, but it's half the money. And we'll have a video coming out about that soon. Of course, to use that, people do this to me all the time. They're like, well, I don't have a compressor. What do I do? I don't know. Brad, Angove videos will probably help you a lot, actually, because I don't use spray cans, so I don't know what is available. I don't know what the technology is.
What I tell people, if they don't really have the full kit and caboodle, so to speak. Well, actually, first on your point about Iwata, if you're going to buy an airbrush, which is, I have a number of Iwata airbrushes, no guns, but Peak, P-E-A-K, same thing pretty much, considerably cheaper. So I have like a Peak C5 that cost me probably 40% of what the Iwata HPCS equivalent would have been. Yeah. And it's excellent. It's one of my favorite brushes. It's not my best detail brush, but I'm not that good at it anyway, so it works just fine. In terms of, I've done a bunch of content about this kind of thing because that's the focus of my channel. If you don't have a compressor and you can't get a paint gun, you can still paint your guitar. The problem is going to come when you get to the clear coating stage. Clear coating is the part where you really need the talent and the equipment, because everything before that is fairly easy to correct. Clear coat, it gets a little more complicated. So you can get a catalyzed clear coat, like a 2K polyurethane Spray Max clear coat.
Help me out here. People say 2K to me all the time, and I'm like, is that a brand? No. Or does that mean a 2-part, which is what I would call a catalyzed?
Absolutely. That's what it means. So I think the K is for component in German. If I'm not mistaken.
So that it is not a brand, because people are like 2K, and I'm like, is that are you saying a brand, or are you trying to tell me that I need to use a two-part paint? We just missed a super chat from Jim again. I'm sorry, Brad.
It said
oh, here we go. Highlander guitar, best to go to small builders for custom work unless you have to have the big name.
Are you a big name?
I am not a big name. No.
And how come you're not the best?
I am the best. Okay. That's
what I thought. I was confused by that.
Okay, so can we shift gears a little bit from paint, Brad?
Sure.
If you don't think you make the best guitars you can possibly make and sell, why would you do it?
Oh, that's a good point. Are you asking me specifically?
Yeah, I mean, you make and sell guitars, and you make and sell great instruments. So that's the thing. I think people have to get over this lack of confidence, because now I'm not saying that like just because you built a kit or just because you assembled some stuff from Warmoth, you need to go into business. But if you're ready to, if you think you're ready to go into business, you had better think that you are the best, or at least
you enjoy it.
At least you really like doing it.
It better be good enough to play comfortably.
Yeah. So let's. What advice do you have? How about this? What advice do you have for the budding guitar builder who you see this question come up all the time? What advice do you have for me? I want to start building guitars for me, for my friends. I want to do this for a business. What say ye?
Well, the simple answer is you're going to have to take your time. You're going to have to put in more time than someone like Matt, for example. when you're doing your first builds, because you're gonna need to learn it. So when I started doing, right at the beginning, when I was considerably younger, when I started doing custom paint jobs, I started painting a bunch of my own crap. So now I've got, because I was young, I've got a bunch of stuff that was painted kind of stupid that I still have.
We want
because
to
I
see
wanted to make
one.
sure I could do it.
Whip it out.
We really want to see one.
I mean, I'd have to go into the garage to find anything, but I've got some stuff that has, for example, ghost flames on it that has no business having ghost flames on it.
Sweet.
Because I wanted to see if I could do that paint job.
Okay.
And then once I was certain that I could, then when people said, "Hey, can you paint something for me?" Well, I can do this, this, and this, and I figured out what I could actually accomplish. So the same applies as far as I'm concerned. The same applies to guitar building. Do a couple for yourself. Make sure that everything is as it should be. Because if you build a guitar and then when you go to play it, you cut your hands because you don't know how to deal with the ends of your frets, don't sell that to someone, right? And then when you actually go to do it for someone else, it's just going to take you a little more time, because what's good enough for you is probably good enough for other people. But if someone's paying you for it, they're not going to forgive the little niggly nonsense that you leave on your own guitar because it gives it personality.
Yeah, as a guitar finishing guy, I would bet you that I'm going to go out on a limb here, everybody, and I'm gonna guess something about Brad, and that is Brad hates to hear, "Well, I got the finish all dorked up. I guess I'll just make it a Relic." The best Relic paint jobs are perfect, and then they get Relic'd. They're not dorked up paint jobs that become something that looks like a beat up guitar.
You plan a Relic. You don't turn something into a Relic because it's not right. That's, you either do a perfect paint job and then you go in and you Relic it the old fashioned way, but faster.
Yep.
Or you plan it as a Relic. So if you want to do like John Mayer's guitar, where it's supposed to be a black guitar, but let's be honest, 23% of it is black. Okay. You're taping off stuff. You're making sure that, there's no point in you putting paint on this section of it because it won't be there after. And then you're removing paint on purpose. You're not going in and going, "Oh, I got a scratch in it. Guess it's a Relic." I had a guy come to me wanting a logo put on his guitar, and he wanted the paint fixed up. Okay. Because somebody had taken a cheap Telecaster that was painted in polyurethane and decided to Relic it. And their version of Relicing it was probably taking Scotch-Brite to it, maybe 600 grit sandpaper.
Okay.
Didn't make it through the paint because it was poly. So it ended up just being a god-awful scratched up guitar.
Scratched up guitar. Okay.
It was terrible. Yeah, it was. It got the sanding started for me, but that doesn't help.
Yeah. What you're trying to do with a Relic job is to accelerate wear.
Yeah.
And if the paint is impervious to wear, like polyester finishes can be, then you're kind of barking up the wrong tree when it comes to trying to accelerate that wear.
That's one thing that drives me nuts, is when people come in with a $200 poly guitar and say, "I want to Relic this." I don't. It's not asking me to do it. It's them saying they want to do it. You're in for an interesting time because poly doesn't Relic. It's just not how it works. You're gonna have to take that off of there, which is also an interesting time.
Also, lots and lots of laughs. What do you use a lot of lacquer? Because
I wouldn't say a lot.
Okay, I don't, and maybe where you live, I would imagine that Canada is probably a little more restrictive when it comes to stuff like lacquer, which is really bad.
We're a little bit like California, but colder.
Okay.
In that respect, yeah. So it is tough to get lacquer. For me, it's not so bad. Mohawk sends me lacquer occasionally, which is nice. You can get it at Richelieu here, or whatever. Anyway, you can get it there. We now have Oxford finishes that I've been working with in Ontario that can ship nitrocellulose lacquer vintage formula throughout Canada.
Wow, that's
cool. The colors are cool, and you can get it in the tins or in the cans. Tell us about the new stuff you found.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's the Udi's oil finish. You think that I don't watch your channel, Brad, but I do.
I didn't know anybody watched my channel. Okay, well, anyway.
I'm the one.
Yes. So for lacquer, that stuff is a great option if you're in Canada and you can get in. You'll be able to get it in the States soon, but there are a bunch of options down there already. Like you guys have a broader selection of pretty much everything than we do. But to answer your question, I don't use a lot of lacquer, but I use it for specific purposes. If you want a finish that's going to age, absolutely. You're going to want lacquer. If you want to relic it, if you want it to yellow, if you want to be able to throw it in the freezer overnight after you paint and have it check.
That's legit. That's lacquer. A real thing.
Yeah. If you want a perfect finish that's going to be perfect in 5-10 years, then there's no reason to use lacquer. That is absurd. The only reason to do it there is if you can't spray poly. The new stuff that, if that's what I'm being asked about, the Odie's oil is, it's an interesting product. It's a hard wax oil. I like it so far. Apparently you can put it on pretty much anything, but if you're looking for a gloss finish, it's not going to be the option for you. If you're looking for a satiny kind of look, which is what I prefer on necks, for example, I don't like a gloss neck personally. It's a great option. I think there are going to be some misconceptions about the pigments you can put in them because they're very strong, colorful pigments, but it's a buff on, buff off. So it's only going to go into the grain. It's not going to change the color of the wood. Okay. I don't want to commandeer your channel here and talk about a finish that's being demoed on mine, though.
No, that's okay. I mean, I think that a lot of people watch both of our channels, and what they get from me isn't the same thing that they get from you. And just because something's on your channel doesn't mean that. Just because you use something different than I do doesn't mean that that's not going to work great for somebody. What people may not know is that if it was up to me, none of my guitars would have a hard finish on them. They would all have an oil finish.
But yeah, I didn't know that either.
No. As a matter of fact, the first year that Texas Toast was a company, we made 11 guitars, and all of them had an oil finish, and none of them had any controls. All of the pickup notice I said all of the pickup. All of the pickup in each guitar was hardwired directly to the jack. Because at the time, I was spending a lot of time, while I was supposed to be working a day job, I was spending a lot of time on guitar forums. And this was back when people were saying things like, you got to have the right wire, you got to have the right cap, you got to have the right pot, you got to have the right finish, you got to have the right wood. A light bulb went off in my tiny brain and said, well, what if we started with the right wood and then bypassed all of that stuff? So you have the wrong finish. Okay, there's no finish on the guitar except for oil. Happy Meal for all those people who really like to hear the sound of the wood. You got the wrong pots in there. Okay, no problem. We'll go right to the jack. Wrong cap. We won't have one. There's no tone control. Universally, everybody hated those guitars. However, they should have been the guitars that everybody claimed to love because there was no wrong anything on them. The problem is that guitar players talk a lot of shit, but they're not willing to put their money where their mouth is. So the whole, you've got the wrong wire, you need to have cloth wire, you've got the wrong cap, you got to have oil and paper, you've got the wrong this, that, and the other. If you just take that out of the equation, that's not good enough. They still want shiny finishes, and they can't grasp that it's plastic. No matter what it is, it's plastic. And they can't grasp that wire is a vehicle for, current to move through, and it has nothing to do with the sonic signature of the instrument, whether it's that wire is wrapped in cloth or rubber, shrink tubing, whatever. So we stopped doing the oil finish, but not because I don't like it, because that's what people were willing to pay for. So
the guitar industry is nothing if not stubborn.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like you just said, if I say Leo Fender got something wrong, people jump on me. Well, it's the same thing. It's like that with everything. The wood, the finish, for example. You get people saying a lacquer finish sounds better than a poly finish on a solid body electric guitar. What? Like, yeah, it's wrapping around the guitar, but if that's your measure, is that the thickness of the finish on the guitar is going to affect how it resonates, then how tight you hold it is going to affect it twice as much.
We say
giant your gut is.
We say that a lot. As soon as you wrap 200 pounds of mat around the guitar, all of that tapping stuff goes out the window.
If that were the case, you would be able to hear when the person playing the guitar has a six-pack or a beer belly. Let's be honest. Like, come on.
Well, I wish that guitar players would do this and say, I want lacquer because I think it's cool. Okay. Yeah, sure. Let's do that then. I want maple and mahogany and rosewood because I think it's cool. You got it. Let's do that. But for those people to attempt to say to me that tapping on a solid chunk of mahogany is the same thing as voicing a soundboard, it's not. No matter what Paul Reed Smith tells you, it's not the same thing. You might be able to get a little bit, but it's not the same thing. So
the thing's not a xylophone. It just doesn't make sense, right? Like, I like expensive hardwoods as much as the next guy.
Sure,
because they look cool. I just like them. It's not because they sound better.
Yeah, and I think what's wrong with saying I like it because it's neat? I think that's perfectly acceptable.
There's a video on YouTube somewhere where they made a guitar out of cardboard and glue.
Or colored pencils. I heard. I should probably watch that.
There ones like jawbreakers.
Oh, there's the whole thing. Yeah. So Brad, it looks like we're coming to the end of our hour. Yes.
I have an interjection.
Oh, Mrs. Toast has an interjection.
Bradley.
I don't know if you can hear her.
To know. Did you try the freaking care package I sent you? Oh. You know how many there's several vets that were over in the Middle East going, I would have loved to gotten a care package like that.
To get a Frito pie.
So did you get a Frito? Package. Did you have the Frito pie? I know I didn't send the best quality ingredients, but it's Canadian freaking customs. God forbid I dropped a firecracker in the box. And
you dropped a firecracker in the box?
Oh my God! I think it's a bomb. They don't have firecrackers.
Why did you put
anyway? Anyway, because I have firecrackers. I don't know.
So two things on that. The cereal, the American Fruit Loops with the Flintstones on them or whatever they were.
Yeah, Fruity Pebbles.
Fruity Pebbles.
Great. Those are great. I tried those. I'm 80% convinced that the other stuff you sent me is fit for human consumption. 80%.
It's non-toxic. That's about all we can.
American Standard Food and Drug Association.
So the plan was and remains. I mean, the timeline shifted a little bit, but the plan was to demo Frito pie as soon as I get my kit for the GGBO.
Ooh, okay, so yeah.
So the canned chili still good.
That's the Frito's probably not.
I thought the main ingredient in chili was beans. How can you have beanless chili? I thought that was what chili was.
No. As a matter of fact, I've been wrestling with the idea of doing a cooking with Matt portion of my YouTube channel, where I make stuff like chili and Frito pie and these other silly things that making tacos with Matt. I think that'd be funny.
But you had that one, you had that chili competition. You got that little certificate, and it was Matt, no knobs,
no beans,
no beans.
That's right. Yeah, I have one chili cook-off in my lifetime. So yeah.
With no beans.
No beans. No.
Jersey chili and Texas chili have no beans.
So anyway, well, Brad, so we've got a few. We should probably wrap this up because I know you probably have to go to work tomorrow.
I got to go to work tonight.
You got to go to work tonight. So Brad, I'm going to let you wrap it up here in just a moment, but I want to plant a seed. I know that Canadian Thanksgiving is not in November. Is that right?
It's in October here.
Okay. We are planning a build and paint a guitar with Mike Learn class, and I think it might be November. Provided the whole COVID thing is done, I think that you should make a plan to come to that.
Plan to plan. I like that.
Okay.
That's Very type A. I appreciate that.
We would absolutely, positively love to have you come down and do that, and do a little painting in our paint booth. I think that would be fun.
Sounds like a blast. I'm sure Chris could teach me a thing or 20.
You never know if Chris will even be there. No, I'm sure Chris will be there.
If a guy takes one vacation.
I know. No, tensions were wearing thin the last week. And I'm like, dude, you should take the rest of the month off. And he was like, I don't know. And like, that was on a Tuesday. And on Friday, he's like, yeah, I'm gone. I'm out of here. And he'll be back. But yeah, it was.
Somebody was about to be fed to the bandsaw straight up like Under Siege style.
I think
Steven Seagal movie.
We were just both just worn ragged, and there's nothing, that is to be expected. But we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of great guys come through. Basically, we built 12 guitars in 2 weeks.
It takes me 6 months to build one kit guitar. So
we had a bunch of people there doing that with us. So it looks like Brad is ready to boot us off here. So
he's sick of us.
Brad, Angove.
No, you guys are awesome. Hey, everybody watching, if you like this, give Matt the feedback, because
that's
I would really like. I'd love for Matt to be doing these like this, and Chris to be doing these like this, and have some guests and stuff like that.
Brad, what you may not know is that I have already set up my StreamYard thing. I'm just trying to figure out how much it's going to cost me to do. So
awesome.
Yeah. So Brad Angove, the floor is yours, just like on the Hot Ones thing where everybody eats the wings. Take us home. Tell us what's new and exciting. What's coming next for Brad Angove? The floor is yours.
See, this is the kind of thing that you usually warn somebody about beforehand, but sure, I'll ad lib.
I'm sorry, we didn't have a whole lot of time to make this happen.
No, we didn't have a whole lot of time to plan much
That's
out.
Better.
So first off, thank you, Brad Hutchings, for setting this up from an electronics and technology perspective, because I'm not saying Matt's a Luddite, but I sure am.
No, I am.
Neither one of us really know how to do this sort of thing. As anybody who's watched my channel knows, I can barely figure out how to do a simple live stream of my own. So thank you very much,
Brad.
For that.
Hit me up, Brad. You're next.
All right, awesome. That is fantastic. We appreciate that, and Matt, thank you for your Southern hospitality, because you're all Southern to me. I'm north of the wall for any any Game of Thrones,
like apartment under you.
Yeah, I remember some old memes about that. For me, we've got the Great Guitar Build-Off coming up. That's the thing with all the people who are much more popular than me, so that's kind of what I have to harp on. It's going to be good. Texas Toast is judging it, so it's going to be good for other people, maybe not so much for me. And some of the other judges.
You've been in our cool book for over a year now, so yeah.
I appreciate that. Some of the other judges are guitar players, though, so it is what it is. I'll maybe try and find somebody who can play to demo mine. So hopefully that is coming up soon. If you guys ever want to have me back, you know where to find me.
I want you to go to a class.
Mrs. Toast is just like dying to have Brad Angove down in the shop. She's just. Why she gets
if I'm coming down there, you're going to need to supply me with a shirt that isn't a youth small. That thing almost broke my ribs.
I use.
Oh my gosh!
And then that flavored lip gloss that smells good. Yeah. That's what little 12-year-old girls trick into, like boys kissing them.
So Brad, I'm going to let you in on part of a secret. We have something else to send you as soon as Andrew St. Pierre sends it to us, and. I'm gonna go to
only mildly disconcerting.
No. It is. I want you to be a member, and that's all I'm gonna say. You'll find out soon enough. So I don't know if Andy the Saint is still watching, but I know for a fact that he is going to come through on this, because Andrew St. Pierre comes through all the time, and it's gonna be wonderful. So
be a member.
Yeah. So anyway, right. Brad, do you have a tagline that you close out your videos with?
Hardly. I'm pretty sure I say have a good one. See you next time.
So you don't have if you're so smart, do it yourself. Yeah.
I think your new tagline.
I'm not that smart.
I'm
I can barely do it myself. Have a good one, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Oh, geez, I'm sorry.
Mrs. Toast is in rare form tonight. So anyway, thank you so much, Brad Angove and Brad Hutchings for making this happen and doing this on such short notice, both of you guys. I tend to think that anything is possible at the last second, and you guys made it happen. So thanks everybody for watching. Thanks to Brad and Brad. I will be back this week without Chris for more madcap crazy stuff and beer drinking, and who knows, I'll probably even have a reveal on Friday for you guys. But until then, this is Matt signing off and saying that if you're so smart, start your own YouTube channel. That's what Brad Angove did. That's what I did. And you can do it too. See you guys next time.